We love supporting and promoting the creators of musical theater throughout the world, and we would love to have your support as well. Go to musicaltheaterradio.com and click on the Become a Patron button because a supportive community is a strong community. Good day, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Be Our Guest here on Musical Theater Radio. I am your host, as always, Jean-Paul Jovanoff. I'm excited because we are turning into this global phenomena. We are speaking with 3 different countries on this interview. One of us is in Canada, one in the UK, and one in China. So let's just jump right in. I want to welcome to the show Lorna Wells and Eudora Qiao. Eudora, Lorna, welcome to the show.
Hi there. Hi.
Hello.
All right. I'm looking forward to learning more about you guys and the musical you wrote. But I always start every interview with a 30-second bio. So, Lorna, why don't you start? Tell us who you are in 30 seconds.
Okay. My name's Lorna Wells. I now write plays, and I've been doing that for about 5 years. Before that, I was a singer-songwriter, and I had to give that up because I wasn't well enough to do it. And so I kind of stumbled on playwriting because I thought, I can do singing, I can write songs and have music. And I saw this course, and I went on it and started writing a musical. And that's kind of me.
Well, you did it in 23 seconds. So do you have 7 seconds worth of stuff left?
Yeah. And and now I'm still writing now. I'm writing a show now, which isn't a musical. But I'm still very interested in the genre of musical theatre writing and all things musical.
All right. You used up your 30 seconds wisely. Very nice. Very nice. And Eudora, yourself.
Yes. Hello, I'm Eudora, and I'm from China. So, 2 years ago, I went to the UK to study musical theater, and I met Lorna at that time. So, now I am a stage manager working at Shanghai. I'm also learning conducting, and I'm planning to do another master next year. So, I'm still doing musical. That's mine.
Very nice. So before we talk about the musical the two of you wrote together, I want to know, was musical theater or music and theater in general a part of your life growing up? Lorna, was that something you did when you were a kid?
As a child, I always wanted to sing. So music was very much in my sort of domain, really. I was that child who sang in a hairbrush in the mirror. That was me. And growing up, and I really wanted to do that. But I also wrote stories as well, but I never really in my head, that didn't really go together. I just wrote stories and I sang. And music is a very integral part of my life. So I guess, and as I grew up, I started to read. I loved the genre of musical theatre, but I didn't really think of writing one. I just thought, I wasn't in my makeup then.
Yeah. Did you remember the first show you saw?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. I think it might have been Cats.
That seems to be popular with a lot of people. That's the first show they saw.
Yeah, but on TV, of course, there's those films, isn't there? So Grease was a big thing. I just thought that was amazing. So yeah.
Very nice. And you Eudora, did you grow up with musical theater or music or theater in your life?
Well, basically, we don't in China. I know musical theater very late, maybe when I was a teenager. So I grew up in a music family. So I studied the piano from my parents. But I remember the first musical I've seen also maybe is Cats from some radio website. So at that moment, I was just feeling like this is amazing. I want to do it. So yeah.
Very nice. Now, did either of you always want to be in theater, or was there something you wanted to do beforehand when you were growing up?
For me, I always wanted to be a performer.
Okay.
So I always wanted to perform. I'd probably say it was singing. I did a little bit of acting when I was in high school, but singing was the thing. I always wanted to perform that way. So in that way, I wanted to perform. But I'm not sure that I wanted to be in theatre in that way. But yeah, performing.
Yeah. Okay. So the stage always was calling to you.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Yes.
And Eudora, for yourself?
Well, pretty much the same. I wanted to be a performer before going to the college, but later I realized that, oh, maybe this is not the thing I want to do. Like, I don't want to show like the whole myself on the stage to others. So maybe there's another way. So theater is very attractive for me, but maybe there's something else I wanted to do. So I turned to creative something. Yeah.
So you both went off to college, and that's where you met. So Eudora, you went to college first. How did you meet Eudora? What was your first impression when you met her? Remember, she's listening.
Is that a question for me?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Because I'm going to ask her the same question. So
what happened was as I say, I literally went on this musical theatre for writing the musical theatre course at Goldsmiths University because I had come to the end of what I could do because of not being very well. A lot of doors were shut to me, and I thought maybe that was something I could do. I didn't really know anything about the course much, but I knew that it was a course, and on the course you'd have students, and there'd be producers, and there'd be writers like myself. So I went along, and I think the first time I started to do anything with Eudora, we were given an exercise where we had these postcards, and we had to come up with a song influenced by what we could see on the cards. And that was the first time we actually ever really kind of spoke properly and started to work together. And I think from that point onwards, we kind of realized we had a sort of kind of, I don't know what you call it, but it was a sort of, we knew that we could work together and communicate well. And I think that's why we kind of started to work together.
Very nice. And Eudora, well, before you even met Lorna, what took you to the UK, to the university? Why there?
I think maybe because the UK has a very long story of like theater and stage performance, so that was very attractive for me, and I want to explore something else. So when I was about to graduate from my bachelor university, and I think there was just a voice telling me that if you don't go abroad at this time, maybe you don't have a chance anymore. So I just jump out of my country and I want to have a new life. Okay. Yeah.
And then you got there, and then you're in that class, and you got paired up with Lorna. And what did you think of that? What was your first impression? Remember, she's listening.
I just remember that there are total 9 students in my class, and like everyone has their special concept of the music. So the tutor told us that we need to share what we want to do in this year for the project. So basically everyone had a presentation about what they want to do. And Lorna, I think we share the same taste. We want to do similar things. Like I like her style, and maybe I guess my style somehow attracted her as well. Yeah, that's why we just get together to do this.
Now, did the two of you click right away, or did you find it was a little difficult to work together, and you grew to work better?
I think we clicked straight away, because what Eudora was describing is it was like a speed dating.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that. So what you had to do was you had to go around to the different groups of producers and composers and sell your story and what you wanted to write and how you wanted to do it, and then they had to do the same. And so we went around all the groups talking, and then you have to decide. Then you had to come and say, "Oh, I think this person and I have some sort of connection." That's kind of how it worked. Which is kind of strange. But I think that we actually worked really well together, and I think on paper you wouldn't have put us together at all. You wouldn't have done. but there was a kind of an understanding of the way that we worked together and how we communicated and how we kind of just became just good friends throughout the process of it. But I just think on paper, if you looked at us, you would never put us together.
Do you remember that first song or piece that you worked on? What was it?
I think it was the Essence of Me.
The Essence of Me, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Essence of Me. A song called Essence of Me, which I started to, because we had to do an exercise where we had to introduce ourselves to the class through song. So we had to write a song ourselves, and then we had to sing it to the class. And I wrote a song which was about me, which kind of then is actually in the musical, but became a different song. And I think that's how that started. Yeah.
So you had to introduce yourself by singing a song. Now, Eudora, are you a singer?
I can sing, but I'm not a professional singer.
Because a lot of times, if you're a composer or a lyricist or a theater or a book writer, you know, you're good at that, but you might not be as comfortable on the stage. So, so you enjoy being behind the stage a little bit more than on it, Eudora?
Well, I like singing as well. Like I enjoy singing. Yeah.
But you'd rather be off the stage than on the stage?
Well, it's not like I don't like or I don't enjoy singing, but like for me, for the career path, being a singer or performer is like, for me, it's like I don't like the feeling about being chosen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Understandable. So you two have met now. You're at the college. You've been partnered together. When did you feel that you were going to take it to that next level? You know, because that was just a random pairing of two people, two strangers meeting. What kind of made you realize, okay, this is somebody I really like and want to move on from there to do something?
I think for me, we kind of decided that we wanted to do something together, and then we had to decide what we were going to write about, basically. And Eudora said that she wanted to set the show in a restaurant, and in a Chinese restaurant, and I wanted to write about food.
Yeah.
So we thought, oh, okay. That works. And then we wanted to bring two different cultures into the show. And I said, well, why don't we just bring our cultures? So that's kind of how we decided to have a Jamaican Chinese musical, which I don't think has ever been done. So, yeah.
I know. And when I tell people about It Tastes Like Home, I went, yeah, it's a combination of Jamaican and Chinese. They're like, that's cool. Like the reaction is great. So tell us about the musical itself.
So it's a story of what it's like to be a first generation immigrant in the UK. That's who I am. My parents came to this country from Jamaica. And so I grew up in two different cultures, really. At home, I was in a Jamaican culture, and when I went outside, I was in an English culture, and it was very weird psychologically to have these two different cultures. So I wanted to write about that, but to expand it across all cultures, so all different people who come here. So the story is about a Chinese man who has the same kind of background where his family came here and he was born here, and a Jamaican woman who have the same background. There's that similar kind of pull between two different cultures. Bicultural is what I call it in my show. And it is about that kind of journey to figure out who you are and how home, which is you're born in a place, is that really home? And if it's home, what makes it home? And I think the thing about it was the unifying thing was food. Like, does food make home? Because what you eat and what does it, the value you give food makes you feel like you're at home wherever you are. So I guess that's kind of what it was like. But it's also a comedy, so it's
I think with those mixing of different cultures, stuff like it's got to be a comedy of some kind.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's about the love story between E, the Chinese man, and Camilla, the Jamaican woman, and how they negotiate two very different cultures, and how that makes them, how they come together over food. That's the thing that bonds them all the way through.
Is that what bonded the two of you as well, outside of the musical theater, the food?
I don't know. What do you think, Eudora?
Yes, I
think
during
it
the
did.
early stage. Yes, of course.
Yes, because there were things which I didn't know about, and I'd have to, and things that Eudora didn't know about in terms of food and culture. We would learn. I would ask her, and she would ask me, and I would say, "Oh, you'd have to try this," and she'd have to say, you can try that." So yeah, it became a
Very nice. It's such a cool concept. When we contacted each other, I don't know how long ago, because I've been playing your show for a while. I love the concept of it, and I wanted to talk to you at some point about this for sure. Now, going back to the process of writing the musical, because Lorna, you said you're a singer-songwriter, and Eudora, you're a composer. Did you find it a little bit difficult, because as Lorna, you write the music and lyrics, and just transferring to just lyrics and book rather than composing, or did you write some of the music as well?
I said most of the melodies are mine, but obviously Eudora then composes it. So there's a couple of songs which Eudora did. I think it's more than a couple, which she did. I did the lyrics and she did everything. But in the mostly I come up with the lyrics, and then I come up with a melody, then I sing it, record it, and I send it to Eudora. that's the process generally, but not with all songs.
No, were the two of you in the same country still at that point, or Eudora, had you moved back, or how did it work?
Most of the song we wrote was like during when I was in the UK.
Okay.
But like we were all both work at home, so Lorna will send the voice message and the text to me. So basically, it's like this. This is like how we are talking now.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we did do, but some of that when Eudora went back to China, we did compose songs that way too.
It's made, this technology has made such a difference, even though we had trouble getting onto it to begin the interview. But it makes such a difference that you can be, thousands and thousands of kilometers away, yet you can still work together on a show. That, that's could never have been done any other time. Right?
No,
that's incredible. So you're working on the show, you're getting the show going. When did it finally get on its feet, and how did that happen?
So this first show was part of the masters. So you had to produce a show, a 45-minute version of your show.
Yeah.
And it was, but I had left the course, so I left after 6 weeks because I wasn't well enough to continue it. But I stayed on as the writer. So I just stayed on as the writer and met up with Eudora, or did this kind of thing. And then it went on, the first show went on as part of our kind of, I don't know, well, part of Eudora's really, sort of final piece in Covent Garden in Tristan Bates Theatre. So that was the first installment of it.
Very nice. And how was that received?
I'll let Eudora answer it.
Well, actually, that show was open to all the audience. So basically, we're selling tickets to all the audience. We have, I remember, 3 nights for that production. Yeah. So it went very well. Like we have full house every day, and like on social media, I keep playing, keep telling everyone, sorry, we sold out, don't come anymore. Yeah.
Isn't that a great but terrible feeling to have to do that?
It's a great feeling for the first timer.
Yeah.
So you got it on its feet. It's a 45-minute show. Then I guess you had to expand it beyond that.
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
So how easy was that process to take it from, because you probably created this nice, wonderful 45-minute, and now you have to add another 45 minutes or an hour to the show. And was that an easy or a difficult process?
Well, what happened was, so someone who saw the show, the 45-minute show, said they'd give us some money to put the show on again.
Nice.
Which was great. And at that point, I had to increase it by another 20 minutes, because that was a slot that we were given in a theatre and a festival. So it felt like I had to sort of pull the play apart and then insert scenes and songs, and because I hadn't told the whole story, so I had the story left to tell. I just had to find ways of getting it into the expanding it. So that felt quite complicated. I had all the scenes written on pieces of paper which was surrounding me on the floor, and then I had to sort of think, oh, we can put this. I physically did that in order to try and get stuff, the scenes where should I put the songs, and what should they, so it is quite tricky to expand the musical and to make it make sense.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
Yeah.
That was the second installment of it.
So you've got all these papers on the floor, you're shuffling them around, you figured out how you want to put the show together. So now you've got a full-length musical. When did that next installment of the show go up, and how did that happen?
So that next installment happened in 2017. Was it 2018? 2018. And we had been 3 nights as part of a festival with a second installment. And then the third installment was in the same theatre, but they'd given us a 2-week run.
Wow.
And so we had to have a 90-minute show. And the same thing happened again, where I had to then write. And so both these shows were happening, these sort of installments. Eudora wasn't here. So we were still talking to each other, her in Shanghai, me here, and then going backwards and forwards that way.
Yeah.
And I had to do the same thing, where I had to insert some more songs and expand the story. But the night that became the show, really, that was the show. That was the whole show, kind of all of the story that was in my head. We were able to do that, which was great. So that happened. That was great, because that was the whole show, and it was just great to see. And there are people who've seen all 3 shows and just love the progression of the show. So
that's fantastic. Now, Eudora, were you in the UK still with the second and third installments of the show?
No, I was in China.
Okay. Were you able to come back and see those?
No, I didn't.
No.
Yeah, because I was working I have a full-time job as well, so I didn't choose to come back. But I heard all the news from Lorna, it went well, and Lorna she will share the comments from the audience and also the media about how it is. So yeah.
That is very cool. So are we ever going to get a production in China, do you think, of the show?
Well, maybe in the future it's possible.
Okay.
I was going to say, I don't know.
So Lorna, you'll have to head over there then, if that happens.
Sorry?
You'll have to head over to China then.
Yes, I'd have to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yes.
So that's congratulations on getting the show up on its feet and the people loving it. It's I understand how difficult it is, and when you are able to succeed like that is great. So where do you see the show going from now?
I think I would like it to go on at a bigger theatre, because the theatre room before was great, but it was quite small, and what we did with it was amazing. But and one of the critics said, "Oh, this show should be at a much bigger stage for a longer run, and have all the bells and whistles that you could do with that." And I thought, yeah, that's very true. So, as everyone wants that, don't they? I guess. But, yeah, but that's really what I'd like, a longer run, a bigger theatre, and for more people to be able to see it, because people do really genuinely love it. I mean, it's a real kind of feel good, but it's got a message as well. And people just still say to me, when are you going to put the show on again? And I think, I don't know. I would like a nice kind benefactor to come.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody give me money, then I'll do
Yeah,
it.
that's what I want. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Have the two of you collaborated on anything else since then?
Not yet.
No, not yet. No.
Okay.
Not yet.
No worries. No, you still got this. And this one probably, once it gets on its feet again, if it does, you might do more tweaking to it anyways. Or do you think it's pretty solid the way it is? Or do you think
I think that you could still have a couple more songs in there, definitely, and you could add a little bit more story, because not all, again, still not the story's not all being told, but if you had a bigger platform to do that, then it would be great to do it. Add a couple more songs in, if possible. Yeah.
That's very cool. So what are the two of you doing right now? Now that the Chase Like Home is it's simmering right now. It's that next serving. Eudora, what are you doing right now to keep yourself busy?
I spend basically all my time learning, because I'm learning conducting, which is a new technique for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I also want to be a musical director in the musical theater. So that's kind of what I'm doing now. But for It Tastes Like Home, this project, I'm kind of like I'm calm down myself and look back, like what can be better and what is something I want to improve. So that's something I am thinking about.
Very nice. And for you, Lorna?
At the moment, I'm writing. I have written. It's not a musical play. It's a play called Illusions of Liberty, and that will be on. It was on last year, and it will be on this year again. It's got dates in London and in Bristol, in May and in July. And that play is like a semi-autobiographical piece about living with an invisible illness. It's a comedy drama about that. So it's actually, and it's a one-woman show. So it's taken up all my time, as it's going to be opening on May the 10th. So.
Well, congratulations on getting that one up on its feet as well.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Well, I'm gonna keep plugging this show, because I think it deserves to be heard on the radio station by other people. So I want to say again, congratulations. The show sounds wonderful. So
thank you.
That's
you so
awesome.
much.
Thank you.
So
thank you for having us on.
Oh, no problem. But before we go, I always ask the people I interview 3 questions. Now, there's no right or wrong answer, but there is a wrong answer. So be prepared.
Okay.
So my first question to the two of you is Weber or Sondheim?
Sondheim.
Sondheim for me.
All right. Any particular reason?
I just think that the musicals of Sondheim musicals just have more scope and longevity than the Weber shows, I would say.
Eudora?
Well, it's kind of like contemporary, and also for the technique, there is a lot of content I want to learn. Like, for me, it's complete. Yeah.
Nice. And for that one, there is no right or wrong answer. That one is an opinion question. So you both passed that one. So nice. All right. Question number 2. What is the best food you've tried from the opposite culture?
Chicken wings.
Chicken wings. For me, oh gosh. There's a spicy aubergine dish which I really like. Yeah, so that's what I'd say.
Nice. Now, so for all our listeners, you have to try these because they're getting recommended. So awesome. And the third question: audiences eating food in the theater, yes or no?
Depends.
Yeah, I would say depends. because we actually wanted to have audiences eating our show, because there's so many mentions of food that people
Yeah.
always come out and say, I'm so hungry after the show.
Okay, you have a totally legitimate answer for your show. So I usually say no to eating food in the theater, but for you, it makes total sense. So I agree. And those are my 3 questions, and you got them all right. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you, Lorna and Eudora, for coming on, telling us about your musical, and you'll have to keep us up to date if it ever gets produced again.
Okay, brilliant. I will do.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome. All right, so that was, again, Lorna and Eudora, the writers of It Tastes Like Home. So tune in next week as we'll be talking with another guest or guests about their life, love, and passion that is musical theater. This is Be Our Guest on Musical Theater Radio. I am your host, as always, Jean-Paul Jovanoff. And until next time, my friends, I'll see you when I see you.